Hi, welcome back to Cynical, and movies have certainly been coming out, but no one watches them apparently, except for Minecraft. Thank God that didn't happen during my screening. I would have lost my damn mind. So the spring movie season since I last made a video has been basically a nightmare. As of recording this, we're officially in the summer movie season. Thunderbolts was just released and did okay. Yeah, the film industry is looking rough right now, minus two exceptions, which we're going to talk about today. So yeah, basically within the last couple of months, I tried recording an Oscars reaction video, and then the audio got ruined and messed up. I then tried to record a post-Oscars reaction, but that video also, all my video files got corrupted on it. And I tried recording a Sinners video, but then there's a little smudge at the center of my screen, so that was lovely. Thanks. So basically, I've been trying to record several videos for the past couple of weeks and have started a new job and basically don't have the time to reshoot or repolish them or anything. If this video has any smudges or scratches or audio issues, I'm going to scream and lose my goddamn mind. And because of this, I've decided to just take a bunch of video projects that I already had a bunch of ideas for and eventually just churn out a video that way. I will see if I want to make a video on Thunderbolts in the future. I'll be seeing it this upcoming weekend. But for now, I want to talk about some of the movies that I didn't get to talk about on this channel, just in the order they were released. Starting with Mickey 17.
I guess I am feeling a little dizzy.
Oh, wow! Did you see that?
Mickey 17 was quite possibly maybe my most anticipated movie of the entire year. I have been following this production for a really long time. I was a huge fan of Bong Joon-ho's Parasite and Memories of Murder. I even have both Blu-rays, and his last couple of movies have been fantastic, and both of his American films have been fantastic. He's one of the most singular directors out there today, and he's easily one of the best filmmakers out there. I get excited for whenever he announces a new project, and by that I mean that one new project that I've been waiting 5 years on. Like, guys, it's been 5 years since Parasite won Best Picture. That was like peak life for film nerds before COVID happened. Like, if you weren't a film major or a filmmaker or a film fan during that time, you just would not get it. But that film was a huge commercial success and especially caught on in the States. It was one of the few Best Picture winners to actually really catch on and get a following outside of just, oh, that won Best Picture. Warner Brothers, in their infinite wisdom, or the then head of Warner Brothers, before David Zaslav, decided to write basically a blank check for Bong Joon-ho to make whatever he wants, in the same vein that Damien Chazelle basically got a blank check after La La Land and Whiplash to make whatever he wanted. And like that film, Mickey 17 is a original, audacious, bold movie that is messy, tonally all over the place, and kind of confused. But unlike Babylon, where the good outweighs the bad, I'm more divided on Mickey 17. I originally intended on making a video of Mickey 17 right as it came out, but ultimately kind of ended up deciding against it in large part because I just didn't know what to say about it. I was kind of hoping that the film would be better than what it was, and that I would make a huge video to encouraging people to go see a new original sci-fi flick in theaters. But I didn't love it, and I didn't quite know how I felt about the movie, so I kind of ended up holding off from making that video. And since then, I'm still pretty mixed on it. I think what Bond is going for is really interesting, creative, and unique, but I think ultimately it kind of fails in its execution, in part because it feels like two different movies, but also in part because it feels somewhat compromised. Unlike a lot of his movies, this is an American production, and thus he has a lot of big-name stars and huge budget to work with. And reportedly, Warner Brothers was working and retooling the film through reshoots and rewrites throughout its conception and mostly through post-production, which would explain its numerous delays over the past year and a half. So Warner Brothers was obviously worried about the film's release and how it would play to a general audience, considering its huge budget, in which, after seeing the movie, I kind of understand why, but also don't. The movie's so weird and humorous and strange that I just don't know why they just didn't leave good enough alone. They would have been better off just releasing Bong Joon-ho's unfiltered vision and just kind of let the film speak for itself, just like a certain other movie that we'll get to in a minute. Mickey 17 has a lot of great aspects about it. I love the production design, I love the concept, I love its premise, I like a lot of its themes it's tackling. Mark Ruffalo is basically doing the most on-the-nose Donald Trump impersonation you've ever seen in your life, and as much as I'm sick and tired of seeing Orange Man on screen, I was kind of loving it. His hammy performance. Toni Collette's fantastic. Naomi Aki's a lot of fun in her part, and Steven Yeun is great in it. But, you know, Steven Yeun's great in everything, so what do you expect at this point? You may have noticed I forgot a certain somebody in this list, and that is Rob Bat himself, Robert Pattinson.
They made me work my ass off, giving me one shitty mission after another.
You're an expendable! You're here to be expended!
Every time I died, they just printed me out again.
Robert Pattinson is probably one of my favorite actors working today. One, because now as an adult, I can watch the Twilight movies in like an ironic way, so it's funny. And now he's taken that commercial appeal and boost to his career that Twilight afforded him to basically make a bunch of weird indie shit and make whatever he wants. Specifically in his films Good Time and The Lighthouse, where he gives very eccentric, very off-ball performances, and he is wonderful in them.
I want a steak! I want a goddamn steak!
If I had a steak, oh boy, a rare, a bloody steak. If I had a steak, I would fuck it.
He also has a great part as a priest in The Devil All the Time, where he has the most insane southern accent I've ever heard in a movie. So I was really excited when he was being teamed up with Bong Joon-ho, one of the most audacious and bizarre filmmakers, meeting up with one of the most bold and audacious actors. And while I think Bong Joon-ho's direction sort of delivers, I think my main beef with this movie is that I just didn't care for Pattinson's performance. In part because he does the narration, and in part because I think the silly voice kind of uniqueness to his performance, I think it's doing too much. I think he largely took me out of the movie, and his two twin characters, oh yeah, the movie's about clones, I should have explained that. Basically, he's going to be cloned over and over and over and over again to do menial tasks for the crew. Missions where he's going to go outside the ship and test and see if the air is breathable, being the test dummy for a bunch of cures and all kind of different stuff. It's all very fun Bong Joon-ho political stuff, which is interesting. So yeah, everything I'm describing, it sounds great, but in execution, the movie just kind of falls flat on its face. And like, I'm saying all this stuff out loud to myself. It's like, I like a lot of the aspects to the movie. It's just, when you watch it and how it comes together, it's strange. The pacing is odd. The sequence of events are odd. Robert Pattinson's performance and narration is kind of off-putting. The movie seems kind of unfocused between focusing on these native alien creatures that the Mark Ruffalo character wants to kill and colonize, and the actual like ethical and political implications of having a man who is constantly cloned and killed over and over again, and the moral and psychological consequences of that. It's also weirdly funny in ways that are fantastic, like the dinner sequence. But then you get a sequence in the film where like Naomi Aki's character is trying to trick or get Mickey 17 into a threesome with her and him. So it's very bizarre, and it handbrake turn for what is arguably the best character in the film. Like, there's just so many weird tonal aspects to the movie that I just struggled to kind of sit with all of them. And it's part of why I didn't make a video on it when it came out, because I just didn't know how to feel about it. For one, I didn't want to crap on an original sci-fi feature, but also, like, I didn't even know how I felt about some of these aspects. And even now, as I'm talking about it, it's one of those films that, even if I didn't love it, I do kind of want to go back and revisit it and rewatch it just to catch all the little details and see, now that I know everything going in, how does it play? Because I think the film would be a lot better that way. Now that I know how all the sequence of events happen, what the tone is, all that stuff, because I don't think the trailers have done a great job marketing the movie in general, especially since they seem to market it more as a sci-fi action feature and not like as a more thoughtful science fiction comedy. Think more like comedic off-ball episode of Star Trek, more than like a science fiction action adventure, which to most people will sound boring, but that intrigues me. It just, the movie didn't really set that up very well. And I imagine that quite a bit of the reshoots were to add more action set pieces and make it a little bit more exciting, especially in the third act. Because it still tries to do like this kind of action-y third act climax, while also trying to be like this thoughtful science fiction piece about characters talking, working with the alien species on Earth. Again, it's very Star Trek-y, it's very sci-fi-y, which if you love that stuff is great, but it's not the kind of thing that translates to a commercial film. And that's kind of where we talk about a little bit about the box office with this movie. The movie completely flopped. It was #1 on opening weekend, but barely made its budget back in return when you look at its huge theatrical run. And by its second weekend, it was already being announced to be put on streaming for rental. So Warner Brothers just basically gave up on the movie before it even had a chance. It damaged its box office numbers. So I don't know why. I don't know if that's a gimmick to get them, to promote online streaming. But I think this movie kind of wasn't, one, marketed right, B, given the chance, and 3, if you're going to invest in a filmmaker like Bong Joon-ho who has such a unique vision, you might as well just go all the way and commit to it and not go halfway with it. Because as a result, you get this messy, compromised movie that once has the budget and scale of a huge summer blockbuster, but is a thoughtful science fiction comedy. So it doesn't really gel with either of those tones. And I think I would have liked the movie a little bit better if the movie was like this smaller, lower budget, mid-budget science fiction film, not this overbloated $100 million movie, because there's a certain scale and expectations that comes with a budget and a movie and a cast like that this movie doesn't deliver on, nor do I think Bong Joon-ho is interested in delivering on. Like, even Snowpiercer, which I believe had half the budget of this film, is more of an action film, and that movie plays a lot better than this. Especially since Chris Evans is a more traditional action star. Not that Pattinson can't be, he's fucking Batman. But it feels like the expectations of the budget and its commercial success don't line up with its artistic goals. And thus, as a result, you get this movie that feels very odd and compromised, but is still really interesting. And despite not loving it, I still would kind of recommend it. So if you're interested in that kind of science fiction storytelling, yeah, go check it out. I can't recommend it for everybody, but it is a unique feature, and I think it's something that should be encouraged to go see. That was part of my goal with making the video. I just didn't have the glowing review or the positive thoughts on it that I thought I would. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 5.5. I do want to rewatch this again at some point, but yeah, it didn't quite deliver on its expectations like I hoped it would. So, I don't know. I'm still excited for Bong Joon-ho's next film. He just recently announced that John Carpenter is going to be the composer for his next film, which, bless, two of my favorite filmmakers working together. I love that. But yeah, I think Bond is going to make another great movie. I think this film will age pretty well, honestly, especially like even now. It was both ahead of its time and like 2-3 years too late at the same time. It's a very strange movie. It's one I do want to watch again, though, and I do recommend people checking out if so much that I want to support original sci-fi like this. Unlike the next movie I'm going to talk about. A Minecraft movie. Yay!
I am Steve. As a child, I yearned for the mines.
As a child, I yearned for the mines.
As a child, I yearned for the mines.
Chicken jockey!
Yeah, gosh, where do I even start with this movie? It's very rare in this channel's history have I ever talked about a movie that I just outright disliked. Even in my Captain America video, I think I was pretty nice to that film. Granted, my first cringy video that I made when I was 17 was me screaming at a camera about how much I hate the Lion King remake because it's a Disney remake. What am I supposed to say about that? But I've basically heard of a Minecraft movie being made for as long as I can remember. Like, since I was like 13, this movie was rumored to be worked on. Like, Rob McElhenney was going to do it. Steve Carell was going to be in it and presumably played Steve because, I mean, shit, that kind of writes itself. Like, and then I just kind of forgot about it because I don't think about Minecraft or was obsessed with it when I was a teenager, but I do love the game. Like, even as recently as like less than a year ago, I was playing Minecraft just as relaxed. I still love that game. So when the first trailer for this movie dropped, I was not surprised, but still kind of shocked in how bad it looked. Like the uncanny valley realistic looking Minecraft characters, but are still kind of blocky and weird. The awkward staging of everything, the CGI, the casting of Jason Momoa, and actually Jason Momoa's fine, but him as like the generic lame video game bro character from the 80s that it's in every bad video game movie, and Jack Black as Steve.
I am Steve.
I guess if he can play Bowser, he can also be Steve from Minecraft, even though he looks fucking nothing like Steve. He didn't even shave his beard. That's what's like shocking to me. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. Like, yeah, Jack Black could play Steve. Like, shaven, short hair, kind of my length, but not looking like this. Could play Steve, but no, this wasn't it.
I'm Steve.
So I didn't really get excited for the movie, but I was kind of being like, maybe I'll check it out. And then the movie exploded. Then we had a second trailer where everyone kept quoting, "Chicken jockey.
Chicken jockey!
And then it exploded to a meme, and then people made movie theaters life's hell, and then they snuck actual chickens into a movie theater, and now they have literal, basically midnight screenings for this movie where they encourage you to interact with the movie and scream at it. Like, this just became a pop culture phenomenon in a way that I could have never have predicted. I mean, I could have predicted it's a fucking Minecraft movie. This was going to make $1 billion no matter what. But to the extent that it's been successful is shocking. I thought this would have been like a huge, like, breakout movie in the same way Five Nights at Freddy's was, but then people would watch it, be like, oh, that was terrible, and then move on, and it would have a huge drop. This has stuck around. This is one of the highest grossing movies of the year. Actually, it's not even one of the highest grossing movies. It is the highest grossing movie of the year. And it's like the sloppiest, most nothing burger of a movie I've seen in a long time that did not give a single shit about making A, a good movie, and B, adapting or caring about Minecraft or the source material they're adapting. Like, it's shocking. Like, I'm shocked that this has caught on as much as I have. I've had friends and people whose opinions I respect passionately defend this movie, and I'm just like, why? And the only reason I can think of is that Minecraft is Minecraft. I love those games. And technically the movie is about creativity and all that different kind of stuff. And it does have decent enough sense of humor, and it's like so not taking itself seriously that you can kind of enjoy it as like an ironic movie. But for me, it just kind of, instead of being what people would call satirical or like funny or comedy first, to me it just came off as insecure and insincere. It's a deeply scared movie that doesn't take any risks, doesn't bother developing any of its characters, and really leans on its like really childish juvenile humor to get it through, which admittedly is kind of fun. And I think that a lighthearted comedic leaning Minecraft movie does make sense conceptually as a film. I think that makes more sense than trying to make a dramatic feature out of it. But when you have stuff like the Barbie movie and Lego movie, it feels like they're not putting their best foot forward, both of which those films were produced by Warner Brothers as well. So it's not like they can't take these, brand movies and make them something more interesting. They can make them fun. Like, Barbie's good fun, and so is the Lego movie, but they're also a little bit more. They have a much more unique style. They do a really great job of translating, like the dollhouses and the toys and making them like work. Minecraft is a video game, but it's the same concept. Minecraft doesn't have a plot or a story you can really adapt. So I don't blame the filmmakers for struggling to come up with a story for it. How do you write a story around Minecraft, specifically survival mode of Minecraft? But what I think they came up with was really dull and uninspired. I think what they've done here is make the most generic movie possible, but just have just enough comedic flavoring and sprinkling that they have a plausible deniability of like, oh, we were just being silly with it. Oh, we were just doing this with it. Oh, we're not taking this seriously. Don't take it seriously. And while I think that does work for some movies, especially comedies, I think when you're adapting something like Minecraft, it feels like a cop-out. The filmmakers had to have known that no matter what this movie was going to be, it was going to make money, it was going to be profitable. It doesn't matter. So the fact that they kind of just put this like no shits given kind of attitude towards this movie is kind of emblematic of like the exact kind of movie that I don't want to catch on. I made in my Cinders video that I didn't ultimately end up making, I kind of addressed the fact and the idea that like original movies have been flopping at the box office. Studios are not giving these films a chance, not marketing them properly, and they've also devalued them by just making them seen as streaming movies first and theatrical experiences second. So the studios are not doing themselves any favors by constantly putting mid-budget and lower-budget movies that would have done well like 10, 15 years ago and just selling them as though they're streaming movies, or like it'll be in theaters for 2 weeks and it kind of is an afterthought, and then there'll be like streaming movies that they'll throw on their subscription services. And all those movies have been flopping, minus that very last film I'm going to talk about here. But the Minecraft movie is the thing that catches on. Not even the generic Marvel movie, which has a little bit more class and prestige and a little bit more effort in terms of the filmmaking. It's the Minecraft movie. It's the director of Masterminds and Nacho Libre and Napoleon Dynamite, who has never done a major motion picture that of this scale and budget before, especially as an action adventure movie, and turning in the most generic, basic ass movie that feigns at being about creativity, but is the most generic movie possible. It has the structure of light joke / Jack Black jingle. They're not songs, they're 30-second jingles. Exposition, action sequence, comedy bit, action sequence, exposition. Like, that's just the order of the movie. Every arc in this movie is super predictable. The characters are barely characters. And it doesn't really feel like the filmmakers put a whole lot of thought and effort into the idea of like how to adapt to Minecraft. Like Steve, for example, is from the real world. He has like the blue shirt, jeans, and look from the games. So it's like, but he comes from the real world. And yet like the zombies in that world are also dressed like him. And it's one of those things where it's like, in the game, it makes sense, you know, question, it's just a video game. But in adapting into a film, it's like, if you're not familiar with the games, stuff like that just doesn't make sense. Like, at one point, Jack Black throws down a water bucket to impact their fall so they don't die, which makes sense if you played the games, but doesn't make any sense if you have it as a standalone movie. It's a film that's completely reliant on your familiarity with the source material, while meanwhile having no reverence or understanding of what made that source material appealing to begin with. Like, there's no use of the C4 or 18 music. There's no real greater references to the Minecraft lore that could be fun, like the Ender Dragon or fucking Herobrine, or just literally anything Minecraft related other than villagers, survival world, stuff like they don't visit that many creative biomes. They're just in this generic mountain green biome. There's no deserts, there's no snowy forests, there's no swamps or anything in the Minecraft world. They don't really explore a cave. They just at one point go to a, quote, the redstone mine. And that's it. That's really all it is. And they're just there to get diamonds. Like, they don't even go properly mining to get diamonds. Jack Black's character just has a whole stash full of diamonds, and he's done all the interesting, fun Minecraft stuff in the first 5 minutes of the movie with the montage. So you don't even get the fun Minecraft stuff. You just get a generic action adventure. And that's just not what Minecraft should be. Or at least not what a Minecraft movie should be. It's just a generic ass movie with not much to say or much thought put into it. At one point in the film, a character at least says, "I'm going to unalive you, dude." Like, characters are talking there like they're in a fucking TikTok video. Like, I understand this is for kids, but like, for fuck's sake, have some self-respect. Treat this like a real movie. Don't treat this as though this is just a job or it's just slop. I'm fine with movies being dumb fun, but there has to be something more to it. That being said, I do understand why people enjoy this movie. There is a dumb fun quality to it. It is very light. It's short. Like, despite the fact that I think the movie is bad, I didn't really dislike or had a miserable time while watching it. There were a couple of jokes that made me chuckle. There were a couple moments that I thought were kind of clever. And there were elements to the production design of, like, in terms of the prop making and the sets where I'm like, no, they actually built out the Minecraft world in a way that felt okay. I don't like the CGI villages. I think those are creepy. And I really don't like the animal design. I think they try too hard to make them realistic. But execution-wise, it's all very well done. And there are a couple of inside jokes, like Jennifer Coolidge jokes at one point that a villager is, I think he's Swedish. Sorry for the horrible Jennifer Coolidge impersonation. And it's like, okay, that was kind of cute and funny. I got that reference. So it's not completely awful. Oh yeah, by the way, Jennifer Coolidge has a subplot in this movie where she fucks a villager. I mean, like, you don't actually see them do it, but that's basically what's implied, and it's weird, and you could have completely cut out of the movie and it wouldn't have made a difference. It's just there because that's the kind of movie this is. I just never got the impression these creators or anyone involved really cared about Minecraft, and that's really it. There are a couple of fan servicey moments I like there's 2 cameos in this that I thought were cute as someone who used to watch way too much Minecraft YouTube as a little kid, but other than that, there is fucking nothing to this movie. If this didn't have the name Minecraft to this movie, people would be labeling it as a boring piece of shit. But because it has the Minecraft name next to it, Warner Brothers gets all of that money. So yeah, not a great movie. I would not recommend it. It sucks. And I want to talk about a better movie, so I'm just going to end this segment right here. 3 out of 10. Let's talk about a good movie.
You twins? Nah, we cousins.
There are legends of people with the gift of making music so true. It can conjure spirits from the past and the future.
Sinners is fucking awesome. I don't know if I could really say anything about this movie that hasn't already been said, but god damn is this movie's success both warranted and so refreshing. An original horror feature by one of our great modern filmmakers, and it has one of the lowest weekend-to-weekend drops ever, and a time where original movies were flopping one after another, and even beat Minecraft on its opening weekend, and had legs and continues to hold strong week to week, including getting a brand new IMAX re-release. I've seen this film twice, both in IMAX 70mm, which, speaking of which, can't make a video talking about this movie. I don't get to flex the... You can't really tell because of the glare from the back, but I got a 70mm promotional film strip for this movie. Isn't that fucking sweet? I love this thing. Haha. So yeah, I don't know if you can see it or if the autofocus. Hold on. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. It's in a machine bag. I'll probably cut to a better video of it, but like, god damn, bro. Phenomenal. Great stuff. I love it. So yeah, that stuff's great. Yeah, this is just a great fucking movie. Original film, vampire film, about blues music, about Jim Crow South in a way that's both very fun and crowd pleasing, but also very thoughtful and beautiful. The way it discusses blues music, every character in this is super memorable and fun. Everything about this movie is fantastic. I could just gush about it all day. Is it some 10 out of 10 untouchable masterpiece? No. It does have some small pacing issues, mostly that. While the blues music set up at the opening of the juke joint segment is fantastic, I'm not describing the plot of this movie, by the way. You already know what it is, and if you don't, go fucking watch the movie. That and the vampire stuff is a little bit rushed. It fits in thematically. I love that stuff, but I wish that element of the film was given more room to breathe. I was talking about this with a friend of mine, but it really was like, feels like a film that like, we just want to make this race drama about a juke joint and Mississippi during the Jim Crow era and stuff like that, and these gangster characters like Smoke and Stacker, 2 great fucking characters. Sammy's a great character. Mary's a great character. Delroy Lindo is one of my favorite actors working today. I love him so much. He's super underrated, and he's fucking hilarious in the movie. I keep dropping a lot of F-bombs in this video. I don't know why. I'm just really excited talking about these movies. But yeah, like you can see, I'm just like grabbing the edge of my seat. The fuck am I doing? So yeah, this is a really special movie, and its success proves that you can make an original feature that takes risks, takes chances, and has legs to the box office. Like this way that it's been able to market itself and show in big multiplexes, and it's the first true original feature for Ryan Coogler, who's been making Black Panther and Creed and Fruitvale Station, all films based on franchises or real life stories. And for his first original feature, I would argue this is his best. I think I will always love Creed more. I think that's my personal favorite Ryan Coogler film. It was the film that introduced him to me as a filmmaker. Like that one take boxing sequence that happens halfway through that movie was one of the coolest things I had ever seen as a young aspiring filmmaker. So I will always love him for that. And there's an equally amazing one take sequence tracking shots involving blues music and history that I don't want to spoil, but it's fucking incredible. It's one of the best scenes I've seen in a long time. It's arguably the best scene in this whole movie, and probably will be the best scene in any film that comes out this entire year. Like everything about this is amazing. I've even been listening to Ludwig Göransson's score for this film, which is beautiful. It's beautiful blues music, beautiful use of synth, beautiful use of 808s, blends so many different genres of music. I'm not a music guy, but damn did I love the score for this movie. I would recommend listening to that and getting the soundtrack release. That is fantastic. Like everything about this movie is wonderful. Is it some untouchable masterpiece? I wouldn't say so. Like I said, I do have some minor pacing issues with it, even though I love how much that first half of the film is just allowed to breathe. And by the time I got to the second showing of this movie and I watched it for another time, everything about it just flowed so perfectly and so beautifully. I loved it. It's just a beautiful movie, and I just could just sit here for 20 minutes gushing about it. But I want to talk about a little bit more of like all these movies' different success and failures. Oh, and I'm giving Sinners a 9.5 out of 10. I can only talk about this movie so much, but it is just that good. Everything about you want from an artistic standpoint, from a commercial standpoint, from a filmmaking standpoint, from an artistic standpoint, from a representation standpoint, movies do not get better than Sinners. It is a film to see that's actually worth seeing and worth your money. But yeah, I think its success does show, ironically enough, the same week that the film was released, Ted Sarandos saying the theatrical film experience is an outdated model. I think Minecraft and Sinners has something to say about it. Sinners does prove that original good films can succeed at the box office. While the film and media landscape seems to be evolving and changing with giving audiences a reason to go see a film, like I think a huge driver of Sinners' success is the IMAX cameras and the IMAX format. The film being shot both on 70mm Panavision cameras and IMAX film just gives it such a unique look, and that you can only truly experience in a theater or IMAX screen. Thankfully in Arizona they have like a huge IMAX 70mm projector and stuff. It's one of the only few theaters in the US that can show it like this, and it's beautiful, and I'm so lucky I got to see it in that format not once but twice. So it is really exciting to see a movie like that. I think it's thrilling. But I think that was a huge driver of its box office. You know, Novocaine or Black Bag or any of the other original titles this year, Companion, just didn't have that same draw and appeal where it's like, yeah, you can go see a good movie if you want to go to the movies, but it's not something you need to see in a theater. And I think that's the attitude that's changing. Audiences want good original movies, but they also need something with a little bit more heft, a little bit more scale, and a little bit more of a reason to go see a film in theaters. I think Oppenheimer really kind of opened the door for films shot in large formats to draw in audiences, and kind of you can make real serious dramas and character pieces, but make them big theatrical experiences. And I think that Sinners has kind of cracked the code of how these mid-budget movies can have success. Have these, you know, shoot these things on larger format celluloid. Have these bigger stars and stuff. It's not great for the theatrical market, but if you're going to make these big budget movies or these mid-budget films, giving audiences a reason to come out and see these in theaters and having a draw to them, I think is the way moving forward. Is also as well, Sinners is just a damn good movie. I think that also gets lost in all this. I think part of Mickey 17's failure was that Warner Brothers just didn't have the confidence in it, didn't market it properly, and then ultimately compromised the film. And I think the movie suffered both financially and artistically because of it. But Ryan Coogler was seemingly given final cut on the film, and it's one of the biggest hits of the entire year, despite not having the budget or the recognizable IP name attached to it. So I think that these studios do need to learn from that. Putting craft and effort into the filmmaking does draw audiences. No one wants to see like a generic movie shot on digital that has like no style or flavor to it. But people do care when you shoot on film, when you put effort and thought into the craft and filmmaking. And you don't just need IP to sell a movie. If you let these artists be creative, if you shoot and take the time, money, and effort to make these films right, it will pay off. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I usually get 2 comments a video, but if you have thoughts on any of these movies, leave a comment below, and peace.